Hello, everyone. Very good evening to all of you. This is Divya, and we are doing a session of a 50-day Montessori course with all you wonderful students over there. So, it is the third day of our program and the second day of Montessori lessons that we are actually doing. So, today we have with us the following students. We have Tulsi, we have Limita, we have Sumita, we have Hamsanandini, we have Ranjani, Kavita, Deepti, Veena, Hina. Then we have Priyanka, Sonali, Lakshmi, and the other participants who are not on camera, off camera. We have Shweta Ranjan, Shashita, Seema. Then we have Deepti, we have Teresa, and we have Amida. Okay, so welcome to today's session. As we were talking about yesterday, related to why Dr. Maria Montessori's principles were so important to us and how children do incorporate in their lessons. So we understood a little bit of basics. As we know that math is all around the young child right from day one. When we ask them questions like, how old are you? What is the time? What is your date of birth? We understand that math is all there in the child's life right from the beginning. What was more difficult for a parent or a teacher was like, helping the child define a number itself. Because as the numbers are growing, we need to experience from our real objects and they need to eventually understand the abstract ideas. So, this is the concept that we are going to be talking because we want the child to work on counting, we want them to work on understanding the numerals, understanding the numerical relationships when you actually give them a number and a quantity. We also want them to work on computations. We want them to work on operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So we have seen all of that. We understood what materials we are going to be working. So in the entire set of our math Montessori, we started dividing them into multiple parts. In yesterday's section, we saw the first part. The first part was related to our numbers from 1 to 10, right? So 1 to 10 were the numbers that we actually followed into it, and we started with some of the materials. We started with number rods, then we went into study numbers, then we associated a number to the quantity by using number rods and cards. Then we wanted to introduce zero concept. That is when we worked on spindle boxes. Identify whether a number is even or odd, we used cards and counters. So this is our first part that we were actually working on. Moving to the second part is where we worked upon the decimal system. When we talk about a decimal system, when we talk about a decimal system, we again divide them into the subdivisions, right? So the first part of our decimal system, what material we are going to be using is our golden beads. Now, golden beads is one such amazing Montessori method or a Montessori manipulative that we use it for our younger children because they have to learn computing, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We also had a heads up about we can perform two kinds of operations. What were they? The static operations and the dynamic operations, right? So we were able to work on all these amazing operations. Now, moving forward from there, yesterday we only did a one digit or a two digit or a directly we went on to our four-digit addition, right? So today we're going to see further. Subhashri, can you please unmute yourself? Sorry, mute yourself. Yes. So if you would like to converse with me, please unmute. Otherwise, I would request everybody to keep your audio muted so that it will not have any disturbance in our classes. Yes, so this is one of our regular exercise that we were actually working on. So we learned about the first exercise that was the static addition using golden beads. To give you a quick recap of how those computations were, how was a decimal system was actually being introduced, I'm going to give you a short glimpse of the material itself. This is for all the students who could not join us yesterday because if you don't understand decimal system, it becomes even more difficult for us to understand. Now, this is our decimal system, right? So we need to be having what tray? We discussed on the tray yesterday. What is the tray called? You have to know the names.
Equivalence tray.
Yes, so we need to have an equivalence tray and you're going to be keeping only the quantity on your equivalence tray. For our units, we are going to be using a small cup because we do not want the bead to roll off. What is the first exercise that we are going to be giving to a child is to sensitize that small bead. The child will have to be able to sensitize that bead. Only then we tell them about the figures, like how it is. Like, this is unit, and 10 such units will make 110. You start giving the definitions for a child in helping them to understand. So what is the vocabulary that you use? You say this is 10 bar. And how many beads will make up a 10 bar? 10 tens will make up a 10 bar. You start counting very slowly. So you count how many units will make 110 or a 10 bar. And the child understands, yes, 10 units will make 110 bar. Now this is your 100, right? So how did we get 100 square? When 10 such bars are combined it together, we make up 100 square. So this is how slowly you would help a child also to count your quantities. So then you have your cube, that is our 1000 quantity, and this is really big, this is very heavy. So these would be your vocabulary that you have to be using. This, children, this is very big, this is also heavy. How many such squares can actually make up 100? When you ask a child a question, the child starts counting. 10 hundreds make 1000. So this is the first conceptual that we need to be introducing in our decimal system, where the child understands the quantity. So you can do this as a 3-period lesson also. Now, what is a 3-period lesson? You can ask a child, can you show me what number is this? Can you show me what number is that? Can you show me where is number 1000? Can you show me where is a 10 bar? Can you show me where is a 100 bar? So you always begin with a 3-period lesson in this also, and then you would start moving. So this is our first exercise that we were talking about. So is everybody clear with this? So this is our golden bead. Okay, to start with, we gave them the heads up about our exercises. Moving to the next part of it was like, we had our numbers, correct? So introductory to the numbers was also important for me, correct? I had to associate a number also, and I had to also arrange all the numbers also very properly. So what we need to be looking over here is like you move on to your second material. So Kavita and all the new students, what was the second material that we did was like we did a computation of numerals. When we talk about numerals, this is our second material in our decimal system. So this is called composition of numerals, or we call them as symbols. Okay, now I can actually pick up any such card over here because they would have multiple cards, like, all the ones in green, tens in blue, hundreds in red color, thousands in again green color. Now, when I pick up a quantity, when I pick up a card or a number from this set, now what am I going to be working over here is like I need to tell how many units are there. So the teacher can ask, how many units are there? Yes, there are 2 units. How many tens? 2 tens. How many hundreds? 600s. How many thousands? 1000. So the child is only focusing on the number over there because we are giving them the quantity of that particular number. So this is the first step that you have to be working on, wherein you give the liberty for a child to pick up any card and they will have to do a composition of your number. Now, what do we do next? The next thing is like you start positioning. Now, how do I position? Now it is very big number, and how do I build it? This is how you will be able to build it. Yesterday also we had a confusion like how do we put it, or in case if the child has a confusion, how do they do it? They would arrange everything, and then when you do that vertically upside down, you will be able to read the number. Now this is the formation of a number, that the number is 1622. So you have to always tell the child, let's read the number, what we have actually made it up or what we have constructed altogether. Okay, so that is going to be our what I could say is our number that we are going to be working on. Okay, so this was our second material. So we used symbols, we used golden beads. So this was something which was very nice. Now you give more numbers. You ask the child also. Now you're going to be working is associating a symbol to a golden bead. Now you got the number. Now you have to arrange the quantity, right? So you have to tell the child. Now you also, right now it is all arranged on a plain mat. But there are certain mats which is available in Montessori that is called as a felt mat. So felt mat will have lot of positions for each of us, and we will be able to position all of them like that. Now see, we have two units, so two individual beads, so two tens, so two bars, 600, so this, and now we made a number of 1662 is being your number. So this is our second material that we actually used up to perform what? Compositioning of numbers, and we started associating a number to our symbol. Moving forward, what was the next thing that we had to be working on? Now, the arrangement. We are not sure about how exactly you need to be arranging these symbol cards, right? So very much in prior, I need to also be arranging this somewhere, right? So where do I arrange all of them? I have to take a working mat and I start arranging all my number cards. Now this is the set you actually get it. So take up a large space working mat and you need to arrange the numbers. The numbers can be arranged from bottom to top 1 to 9 or from top to bottom 1 to 9. It is up to the teacher. It is up to the student how you actually want the arrangements of your numbers. Okay, so you start arranging the numbers. It's 310, 410, 510. So this keeps happening. And this is also a task. The child should be able to arrange everything. Only when they have a set of arranged cards, it becomes easy for a child to pick any number. The teacher immediately asks, can you bring 4 tens? Can you bring 5 tens? Can you bring 8 tens? Can you bring 8 tens and 4 1s? Or the teacher can say, can you give me 400 or a 500? See, all here we are going to be only looking is about how that number is going to be looking like, how that number is going to be working like. So this is very essential for us to understand. The positioning and the placement of all our cards is really, really helpful for us to actually work with. And you continue doing the same for almost all the cards until your 9,000. And then the teacher would be able to ask you to work on any of this. Now from here, if I tell you 5,665, you have to pick 5,660 and 5. Now, one thing what you need to be remembering over here is like any time that you're picking up any number, no, anytime you pick up any number, what you need to do is like you cannot remove that, you cannot push that number. Wherever there is a space, right? Say, for example, if there was 400 here and 500 was here and 600 is here. So if the teacher asks you to give you, if the teacher asks you to give the 600, what you need 500. If the teacher asks you to give 500, what would you do? You would only be removing this 500. So there is already a space which is there, right? So that space has to be like that only. Because the next time that you have to put it back, you know where to replace it back. Sometimes what children do is they don't want the space to be there. So they'll start pushing the 600 above, or they'll start pushing this 400 and they'll start making that arrangements. No, this is something that we will have to be really careful. Whatever card that we take it up, the space has to be given there itself. Clear? Is this clear? Everybody? Everyone so far it's clear? Okay, done. So that was our yesterday's lesson. Okay. So if you don't understand this initial part, it's kind of little difficult for us to perform our addition. So we started with our golden bead addition, right? So addition can be in 4 digits. Subtraction can also be 4 digit. Multiplication, division, all of them can be 4 digit numbers. Yes. So we did a static addition yesterday. So today let's take a look at a dynamic addition. Okay. So let's see.
Completed.
Yes.
Yes, dynamic also complete. Start from
Dynamic also completed, right? Okay. Then we will start with our
subtraction.
Subtraction. We will take a look at subtraction. So for subtraction, what is the material that you would need? We are still working with our subtraction, golden beads itself. So we are going to perform subtraction using golden bead. We're going to be using the same material, golden bead itself. Okay. So what you need to be working over here is like, you need to have what all? You need to have, what all we need? We need to have a problem statement. Then we need to have golden bead. Tell me the materials. We need golden beads. And then we need symbol cards. And then, yes, you need a working mat. You need a working mat. So these are your materials which is required. You need to also have a tray to carry your materials, right? So let's take a look at our subtraction. So the problem statement that we're going to be working is 3,586 minus 3,586 minus 2,531. Can everybody see all the three screens? Can everybody see all the three screens which is pinned?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. Okay, so this is your problem statement that we will be working on. See, we have already introduced a symbol. Minus symbol is what you need to be introducing over here, right? So we got this problem statement. Now, what you need to be working over here, first thing is like you need to first expand it. So when I start expanding about this quantity, I get to understand, okay, so my quantity, the first number is 3,580 and 6. So the child is requested to go where? To the Montessori area, and the child will be picking up what?
3,000.
Yes, the child will have to pick up 3,000s, 500s, 8 10s, and 6 1s. For ones, we need to carry a small bowl and we carry that quantity. So always remember in subtraction, we will only be arranging for the first number. We don't have to carry the second number. So we don't need two trays because we are not carrying the second number at all. We are instead going to take away the second number from the first number, right? So that's the rule of our subtraction, correct? So let's arrange. So let's go to the golden bead area. We bring 6 units. We bring 8 10s. So 8 bars, we have to get them. And then we have to bring 500s. And then we need to bring how many thousands? 3,000s is what we need to be getting. So this is our quantity. What is the next step that we have to work? The next number is 2,531. So we need to take away how many units from number 6? We have 6 units. We need to take away how many ones?
1 unit.
One unit. So we have to take away 1. So how many are remaining? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are remaining. So you take your 5 card and you put that 5 is remaining. Now you have 8 10s. How many 10s we need to take away?
3.
3 10s is what you need to be taking away. Correct? So we take away 3 10s. So remaining are our 5 10s. So similarly, you have 500 and you need to take away all the 500s. So we have nothing there. So it is 0, right? So I need to be representing a 0 there. Then I have my 3,000. So I have to take away 2,000. My remaining is my 1,000. So my answer over here is 1,055. My answer. Correct? Clear, everybody?
Yes.
So what was this subtraction? What subtraction did we just do? Was it a static subtraction or a dynamic?
Static.
Static. Why was it static?
No borrowing.
There is no borrowing.
No borrowing concept. Correct. So it was a static subtraction. So it's very easy. So when the child understands everything through your quantities, no, it becomes more easier. So let's take up another example. Let's do a dynamic one. So let's note down another problem. So let's do the second problem of dynamic subtraction. So for dynamic subtraction, the next problem statement, this is how you would arrange finally. Okay. So let's take a look at this. 4,182 minus 2,649. Okay, so this is our problem statement. The next problem statement is this. So we take up 4,182 minus 2,649. Now take a look at your first unit. So we have 2 units, but we have to take away 9 units. Is it possible for us to take away 9 units from 2? Not possible. So that's when we start borrowing from where? We borrow 110 from this. So when we are borrowing 110, where am I positioning it? Where am I positioning it? I'm positioning it in my ones place. So I cannot keep a 10 bar. So that's the reason I would replace it with how many beads?
10 beats.
10 beats.
10
So I will
beats.
have to be replacing it with 10 beats. Now I will not have 8 because I replaced. So it becomes how many? I will have
7.
only 7 bars eventually, right? So this would be your principle that we're going to be working on. So let's see how do we do that. Okay. So again, you expand your first number, you start collecting your quantity. So you take 4,000s, you take 100s, you take 8 tens and 2 units, right? So you're arranging your quantity, the first number, and then the 4,000s, you start keeping your 4,000s. Okay. Now you introduce a subtraction sign and you take up your second number. Now this is where we're going to be subtracting. So we only have 2 units, but we need to take away 9 units. So I'm borrowing my 110 from there.
110s.
So if I'm borrowing, I cannot keep it. So I have to replace it with 10 such beats. 10 such ones. Then I take away that 1 bar and I would put it there. Now I have 12 units. From 12 units, I will take away 9 units. So how many are remaining? 3 are remaining, right? So 3 is remaining. Now we have 7 tens. We need to take 4 tens. So we have the remaining 3 tens over there. So that's your 30. Now we have 100, but we have to take away 600. So we can't. So what we should do? Replace 1,000 with how many hundreds? 10 hundreds is what we need to be replacing it that with. And then you put back all. How much is remaining? 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500s are remaining. Now you have 3,000s, but you need to take away 2,000. So we are left out with 1,000 only. So your answer is we have 1,000, we have 500s, we have 3 tens and 3 ones altogether. So that's your final answer. So this is your dynamic subtraction because we worked upon borrowing conceptual. So it is very simple. Wherever there is a borrowing, you need to start exchanging that with the other quantity. So when you're carrying forward, you will you will add it. When you're borrowing, you will have to be cutting down to the lowest quantity. Okay, so that was our subtraction. So what is the next operation that we can do with golden beads? We have understood, right? So we can do multiplication. Now, whenever we are working on multiplication, see, multiplication is nothing but added addition. We all agree on that. Say, for example, if I give you a simple problem statement, 2, 3 times are what? So that means this is always my multiplicand, right? The first number is my multiplicand and my second number is my multiplier. And whatever answer I get, that is my product, right? So my multiplicand is always a group. So that means this is one group, correct? So there are 2 in a group. How many times such groups are there? 3 times. So this is 1 time. This is 2 times. This is 3 times. So this is how you would represent 2, 3 times. But when I give you 3, 2 times, how would you represent? 1, 2, 3. 3 1 time. 3 2 times. There is a lot of difference between 2 3 times and 3 2 times, even though the product is 6, even though the answer is 6, because we do as an addition 1 2 3 4 5 6. 6 becomes the answer. 1 2 3 4 5 6. This becomes the answer. So the first step when you're introducing multiplication to children, you need to introduce as what? As a added addition. You need to always teach children multiplication is nothing but added addition. Now, how do I do? Should I do it as a table? 2 1 time, 2 2 time, 2 3 time, 2 4 times are, 2 5 times? Definitely yes. You can use a multiplication table to actually perform your multiplications. But we use golden bead material to perform not such simple multiplication, but we will be able to perform larger quantity multiplications. For example, 1 into 5 or 25 into 3 or 365 into 4 or 8,922 into 3. we will be able to perform such larger operations using golden beads. So whenever you get any problem statements like this, you can definitely use golden beads, or we can also use another Montessori material that is nothing but a stamp game. Okay, so let's take a look at our multiplication material. So that is our golden bead multiplication. Here also you can be able to do both static, and you should be able to also perform dynamic multiplication also. Okay, so here is what we have. Let me quickly share the system. So we are going to perform multiplication. Okay. So the problem statement is 1432 3 times. So that means what should I be able to do first? What should I be able to do first? I have to collect what? I have to collect that quantity, correct? So I have to take 1000. How many hundreds? 4 hundreds,
400.
3 tens, and 2 ones. How many times I have to collect this?
3 times.
3
3
times.
times. So you will have again 1000, 400, 3 tens, and 2 ones. 2 times is done. Again, I will have to collect one more time, right? So this is how you will start collecting. So the child should have 3 trays, especially to actually work. Or if the child is really good enough in understanding this, they can do it all together. Okay, so let's see the presentation. How do we do it? So it is 3 times. So we do an expansion of it. We start collecting our golden beads. So 2 units, 3 tens, 4 hundreds, and 1000. So we had one time. Now the second time, you arrange similarly. And third time, also you arrange it similarly. Now what do you do next? After you arrange everything, you start adding, right? So we need to add all the units. We need to add all the tens. And we need to add all the hundreds. Hope you're able to see it now better. Yes. Okay. So join all your units. Count the number of units. We have 6 units. How many tens we have? 9 tens. You need to be a little slow, okay? We're being a little faster. So you got to be a little slow when you're demonstrating to children. And then how many hundreds? We again have 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. 900. Wow, there are 10 hundreds. So you need to exchange it for a square. So remaining is only 200. Now 1000, 2000, 3000, 4000. So the answer is 4000, 200s, 9 tens, and 6 ones. Okay. So that was that a dynamic or a static? See, we covered both. If you are doing a dynamic multiplication, you don't have to do a static one. You don't have to learn about that itself. So you can do it once again. So anytime that you get a count of 10, 1000, 10,000, 10 tens, 10 ones, whatever, you need to go for the next replacement. That is the quickest one that you're going to be working. Now the last operation, you're going to be using golden beads. Yes?
Ma'am,
Yes.
two trays, one trays the card should be there, other tray you have to arrange the beads. Yes,
No,
ma'am?
no. Because why we give 3 trays is because you had 3 times, no? The child will go collect the quantity
3 times.
3
Okay.
times because they will have to get, or you can give a single tray, he will come multiple times. It's up to
Okay,
you. Okay, but
Okay.
let them use a tray to collect the quantity because in your racks there will be cubes kept. We don't want the child to carry everything like this and to drop them down. So you always encourage them to go with the trays. Okay.
Yes. Okay,
The
ma'am.
fourth operation is division. We're going to be working on division using our golden beads. Okay, so let's take a look at our division. I'm going to start with dynamic division itself. So division is very simple. You can always remember division is what? Distribution. Division is distribution. How many of you all like chocolates? All of us love chocolates? Now just imagine it's my birthday today. So I have got a Dairy Milk silk chocolate for all of you. And I've also got a smaller dairy milk chocolate for all of you. And I've got even more a smaller candy and then a very tiny candy. Okay. So which one would you be wanting to receive first? The big one? The least importance is given to the smaller one, right? So what we always do in distribution is we have to always collect a larger quantity in division. Okay. So we have to always start distributing the larger quantity. Then we distribute the second largest, then the third largest, and then the last quantity. So this is the rule that we need to be working on. Okay. Since we are distributing, say for example, if it is 5,555 divided by 5. Okay. So my mother has given me 555 chocolates. I need to give it among how many friends of mine? 5 friends. So I have friend 1, friend 2. So maybe I have a friend 1, second friend, third friend, fourth friend, and fifth friend. So I have 5 friends. So I need to distribute how many chocolates? Only 555 chocolates. But at my home, we have 700 chocolates. At my home, I have 700 chocolates. So I should not be worrying about how many I have it at home. My problem statement is only this. Why I told you this is because at school, you will have many beats, right? So you will have more quantities, more and more quantities. But what happens is like, once the children find the division box, the quantity will be more. So the child will start be able to distribute everything. So what we need to be collecting is collect the dividend. Okay. So you need to collect the dividend. Dividend is your 555. So you take a tray and collect your dividend. So how many you have to collect? 500. So I collect my 500s, 5 tens, and 5 ones. Maybe in my division box, still I have extra quantity, but I'm not bothered. But I have to only be collecting whatever is my problem statement, the dividend tells, I have to only collect that. So I have to distribute it among how many? Among 5 of them. So this is my divisor. Right? So what each person gets, that's my quotient. Okay? You have to always remember we should not have any remainder. We should not have any remainder for our preschoolers because our material will not support. So that means whenever you're choosing your problem statement, you need to make sure it is equally divisible. Okay, please everybody note down. Whenever you're giving your division problem statements, you have to make sure the problem statements will be equally divisible. Otherwise, we should not be able to give because we will not be able to break. The rule is you can't break a chocolate and give it. You have to give it as a whole chocolate. Why? Because a 10 bar, I can't break it and give them, right? So it is as a whole. 100, I can't break it into you take 50, you take 50. I can't do that. So you have to make sure the number would be equally divisible to all of us. Okay. So let's move on from there. Once we have all of this is what you will move. Now let's distribute. Now how do I distribute? From where should I distribute? What was the rule I said? The largest or the biggest chocolate. So which is my largest quantity here? It's my hundreds. So I will distribute all the hundreds to my friends. So I'm finishing with my hundreds. So I don't have any hundreds here. Once I'm done distributing hundreds, then I give my tens. Once I'm done with this, then I have my ones. Right? So how much did each one get? Each one got 100, 110 and 1. When I do a joining, I would get my answer as 111. So that is my answer. Easy, everyone? The only rule is it needs to be equally divisible. Okay, so it has to be equally divisible. So that's the only rule that we are going to be following when we actually work on our division. Now I'm going to be showing you an example of dynamic division. So let's take a look at how a dynamic division can be done with the same conception. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so the problem statement is 4,725 divided by 3. So that means this number is equally divisible. I know about it. I have cross-checked it. So none of them would have any difficulty. Okay, so it's equally divisible to all of us. Now let's take a look. So what should I do? I should start collecting my quantity. So I would expand this. So I collect 4,700s, 2 tens and 5 ones. So I collect my quantity. So I've collected 700s. Now I have to collect thousands. So I will collect 4,000s. Now I have to divide this quantity with 3, right? So with 3. So I have to take what? 3 trays I can take, or 3 felt mats I can actually take. But see, one cube is left out. So how do I distribute this 1 cube? I have to replace it with how many hundreds? Guys, come on, how many hundreds?
10 hundreds.
10 hundreds, we need to divide it among 10 hundreds, right? Yes. So this is the next process that we're going to be walking is let's divide it among, let's replace it with 10 hundreds. Are you able to replace it? Amazing. So this is what you have to keep replacing it. So now you start distributing. Now you start distributing. Now again, those 200s you have to distribute it to 20, 10 bars. Guys, did you get it? Or is it going a little faster? You're with me? Are you with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes. So now start distributing. So I'm keeping because we are not able to see the other tray. So you keep distributing them. So you have 1 10 bar. Now that 1 10 bar, you will replace it with 10 ones. The moment you have anything single, you need to keep replacing that and put it into that place position. And then you start putting them. So make sure for all the ones, you keep a small bowl so that the beads will not be turning. No, it will not flow. So now you need to check how much did each one get. How much did each one get? So the answer is like what beads, how many beads are there in one tray? So it's 1,000. Then how many hundreds? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Then how many tens I do have? I do have 7 tens. And how many ones I have? 5 ones. So my answer is 1,575. So the question was 4,725 divided by 3. We got an answer of 1,575. Now, what do you think about this material? Now, give your review on that. What do you think about this material?
Amazing, ma'am.
Lovely. Isn't this
Lovely.
amazing?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
Kids will enjoy. Kids will enjoy without pain or pressure. They will do it, seeing the beads, and they will enjoy. Definitely, they will
Yes. So
enjoy.
when you give this to parents during the open houses, when you invite children, when you invite your parents on open house, you give them the problem statement. You should see the joy that the parents will also be exploring with this material, especially whenever it comes with long divisions or a dynamic division that we actually talk about. They would be really confused at the first time. Even many of you might be confused unless and until you would experience this exercise all by your hands. So that's the reason we always say hands on, minds on, right? Unless we experience through our hands, we feel the material, we would be able to manipulatively play with these. It becomes really hectic for us to understand at the very first go. But you have to make sure that you at least take up any kind of an observational period in any of the nearby Montessori schools and get the exposure of this material and start learning how to work on these principles. Okay, so this covers our first material in our decimal system. Nothing beautiful than such an amazing material that is our Montessori golden bead one of our favorites, I could say, one of our favorites in our classrooms, one of the favorites which most of our children do love because they love manipulating with these beads, So that is how you can also like start giving. To give more problem statements. So I would also give you a website. Now, say in case the teachers are really not sure about what kind of problem statements that I can actually give to my child or something. In case if you're not able to work on those, what you can always work is like there is a website called Montessori printshop.com. Okay, everybody write down www.montessoriprintshop.com. So it has ready-made problem statements for all you teachers. What you can go there is like print the problem statements in case if you don't have time. It also gives you, supplements or, printed worksheets which you can actually purchase. Some worksheets are, what I could say is like, so they are paid versions worksheets. So you can actually see in case if it's feasible, you'd like to buy out, you can do it. But in case if you're really good at using your computers and you are able to make up the lesson plans for your classes, you should be able to do it all by yourself. Okay, so that was our first material. And let's take a quick 5 minutes break and let's come back for our second material, that is our stamp game. I'll see you after 5 minutes.
Ma'am, small
Yes,
doubt
ma'am.
from me.
Yes,
Don't spare
yes.
me. When we are collecting this, we
Hmm.
have to collect 1,000 separate tray and 100 separate tray, 10 separate tray.
Hamsa ma'am, what
Yes,
you can do is like in case if the place where you have kept the thousands, we call it as
okay.
a bank. Okay,
Bank.
we call this as
Okay.
a bank. A bank
Okay.
is nothing but where you store all this quantity. Bank
Yes,
is
ma'am.
like a section wherein you'll have many thousand cubes, many hundreds, many 10 bars, and so many boxes of beads you will have it. If the
Okay.
bank is little farther compared to the workspace of a child, we will always encourage them to use a tray to carry because
Okay.
there would be a possibility of children dropping the beads. If
Yes,
the
ma'am.
bank is little close by, they can get up, they can go to their position, pick up a quantity and come. So
Okay.
always it's encourageable. Let them go with the tray, carry that quantity and come back to their position. So that will be more helpful for them to arrange everything. So they're collecting together, no? It's like 4,000, so they pick up 4,000s. Then 300, so they take up 300s. Then two tens, they pick up immediately two tens. Then five ones. It becomes more easier for them.
Okay. Thank you. Thank
Okay,
you.
yes.
Thank you.
Any questions on this material? Because we will head forward for the other material. So one more question, if anybody has, we'll take that and then we can move forward. Kavita, any clarification because you missed yesterday's session?
No, ma'am, nothing.
Nothing, right? Okay, okay then. Fine.
But it
We'll
just reminded
quickly.
us this board game, business board game.
Yes.
It is somewhat similar to it.
Yeah.
Thing is, here we play around with the beads. There we have the money.
Correct, correct. See, it's all
1,000,
about
200,
experiential learning. If you give
Yes.
them some kind of a hands-on exercises, no,
Hands-on,
the
yes.
children would love to learn,
Love to play it.
love to learn, and love to play. That's the only conception. All right. Okay. So let's quickly head back to our break and come back in 5 minutes.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I send the table, it is minus correct, ma'am.
Yes, it's correct. It's correct, Hamsa ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
There was no update of corrections, no? Did I send anything for correction?
No, nothing. You didn't say.
Then it will be correct, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's head back after a quick break, and we are stepping into our next Montessori material in decimal system after the so-called golden beads, one of the most favorite one, and that's called stamp game. See, one thing about the golden beads is like, so it was very attractive. We found it very attractive. We found it very playful. But at the same time, it was also consuming a lot of space. Don't we agree? If we had a larger quantity and other thing, it was consuming a lot of space. So that is when we came up with the next material, and that is called as our stamp game. So if you see over here, this is the material that we generally have it, and we call this as stamp game. Okay, so it will have multiple compartments. So it will have a compartment to store your thousands. It will have a compartment for hundreds, tens, and ones. One such beauty about all these Montessori materials is from here on, whatever we do is color coded. Okay, so your units are green, your tens are blue, your hundreds are your reds, and your thousands are your green. And then it follows the same 10,000s again in blue, then again 1 lakh in red, 10 lakhs in green. So it will have a same circulation of, color codes and other things. Now, one thing is like, there could be a confusion for a child, right? Ma'am, my ones is also green, but my thousands is also green. But how do I represent? So they always give you a bigger skittle, like for 1,000, and a smaller skittle for my ones. Okay, so this will at least help a child to understand, even though both of them are green in color, they're slightly bigger in sizes. Now, why do I need these skittles for representation is whenever I'm writing my problem statement, whenever I'm writing my problem statement, I can position so that the child will not have any confusion on my tens or hundreds position. So I'll keep it this way so you'll be able to see the sizes. So this is my ones. Then I have my tens and my hundred, right? So I would have my hundred skittle and I would have my tens skittle. So all of them would give me a position about how exactly that I will have to be positioning all my this thing. Okay. So this is called a skittle and this is your board. If at all, if you do not use that, you can always go with coins also. Coins will also represent the positions. Okay, so you can also go with coins. But in this, there is nothing like which tells about a bigger position of coin and a smaller position of a coin. So we don't have that kind of positioning over here. Okay. So what we need to work over here is like when I'm taking my stamp, one thing that I have to describe about this material is each of my quantity is of a stamp size. It is of a stamp size and you will see numbers written on it 1 and then 10 and 100 and 1000. So we don't have to go with another card to give me number. We don't have to use another card to give me a number. Now, if I say two tens, I will pick up another 10 over here and then I will write this is 210. If I say 300s, I will have to only be positioning my 300s over here and I will have to be giving you that. So you can see that even the stamps are not growing in sizes. Each of the stamps will be of the same size, irrespective of my ones, tens, hundreds, and thousands. So that's the beauty of this material. And we use this to perform the same exercises, whatever we did it in our golden beads, we can perform addition, we can perform subtraction, multiplication, and division, both static and dynamic of 1 digit, 2 digit, 3 digit, and 4 digit numbers. Okay, so this is just the overview of your material. So this is your stamp game. Okay, so we are going to be learning our addition, subtraction, just like a game that we are going to be playing with our children. Okay, so let's see the first exercise. How do we perform addition? Note down everyone. The first exercise that we're going to be working is our stamp game addition. Stamp game addition. Yes.
in exam, if they are asking, they will specifically mention stamp game
Yes.
like that.
If they don't mention, or if they say like, perform, only they give you a problem statement and they'll ask you to perform with a demonstration, then you will have a choice. Then you can either use stamp game, you can use golden beads, you can even use small bead frame, large bead frame, bead stairs. There are different materials that you can actually use for your addition and subtraction, whatever operations that they give you. But they will be very specific. They will not generally give you. If they're not specific, you can ask whoever is your invigilator. You can ask them with what. Okay, how do you put forth that question? You say that, addition can be done using different Montessori manipulators. Could you please guide me which material that I have to use it? Can I perform with golden beads or a stamp game? Be very specific, because you will have just 30 minutes or 40 minutes time to write or demo one material.
Okay.
Out of that 30 minutes, you don't waste time in doing little of this and little of that. So be very specific. You need to do a writable also. See, every time that you describe about any material, so this is something that I did not tell to all of you. So what you need to do is like, every time any material you take up, lesson planning is very important. If you don't plan up your lesson, it becomes very difficult for you to take the material further. So in your lesson plan, you will decide about what is the material that I'm going to be using. So you will also write a description about the material itself. So how do I write a description about my stamp game? I say stamp game is a material which we use it in our Montessori classroom to introduce addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. And I have to also tell about that material itself. So it is of stamps which is of different colors like blue, red, green and another green, wherein units will be of green color, tens are in blue, hundreds are in red and thousands are in green again. So you will describe about the material. Once you describe about the material, you will write what is the purpose. Why are we teaching this exercise to a child? As a Montessorian, you should know the purpose. Why are you teaching this exercise to your child? You need to know the purpose. Once we know the purpose, yes, it is for introducing operations to a child. Now, in that presentation, how can you present to a child? So, your presentation is important. You will invite a child. You will tell them, children, today we are going to learn a new lesson using stamp game. So, you invite them, you show them where your stamp game is actually positioned in your classroom. You show them where exactly you keep that, and then you will ask them to bring a tray to collect a quantity. In presentation is where you would have already prepared your environment. So what do I mean by preparing an environment? The stamp game is opened and kept on your today's shelf, right? So it is opened and kept, and you would also have your problem statement. What problem are we going to be working on? Is it addition, subtraction, whatever? You have to prepare problem statements and you keep it, and then you will invite a child and you tell them this is what I'm going to be working. So when you're working on your presentation, you would always keep in mind, it is not that blindly the teacher is actually giving you problem statements, right? There is something which is related to your indirect purpose. You see that the child is indirectly also learning something else. Maybe their concentration is becoming better. Maybe their computation ability is becoming better. So there is always an indirect purpose related to the purpose of the material itself. So you need to identify that. And what is the error of control? Now, error of control is where can the child go wrong when the child is performing this operation. So where can the child go wrong? Maybe while adding, maybe while keeping the stamps, maybe while collecting the quantity. As a Montessorian, you need to observe that error of control. Okay, these all will be your observation parameters. So when you're introducing your lesson, you need to give that minutest observation to every child on this. Has the child picked up the material rightly? Are they carrying the material rightly? Are they positioning the quantities properly? Are they arranging everything on a mat on their regular or a correct place values? Because the mat or the choice of mat that you use it in Montessori is also different, right? The mat will be divided into multiple sections here. So you will have green portion here, blue portion, red portion, and a green portion. So the mat itself will be divided. So the child will, by default, he would understand where to keep a particular stamp or a golden bead, because he understands what? The place values of every quantity. So this is very essential right from the beginning. Even I always tell to teachers, even when you're giving them a notebook or a worksheet, always please write the place values. So it is always encouraging the child. The child will always know where to write. Right? So number 10, they would write it like this. Some children, they write it like this itself. In the ones position itself, they write. So they should know that it should take up its own positional value. So that is the place value that we need to be working on. So this is how you plan your lesson plan. And now what could be the age that I give stamp game? Can I give it to a 2-year, 3-year, 4-year? No. The child should be 5 years and above. He should know the basic numeration, basic counting. Okay, he should understand the writing of the numbers, symbols. He should be able to calculate. So 5 years and above children, you can always put them onto simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. They're okay with that, then you take it further and then you give them the dynamic addition. Okay, so that is about how you plan your lesson plan. Okay, very simple. You have to follow the same way that we're going to be using in each day. Fine. So yeah, thank you, Hamza. That was a very good question, because sometimes when you ask questions, all these things would definitely come back, right? So let's take a look at the first exercise. The first exercise that we're going to be working is our stamp game addition. And we can perform a simple, what I could say, static, and then we will slowly move to a dynamic addition. Okay. So let me quickly share the screen with all of you. Yes. So take a look at the first problem statement. If you see, the first problem statement is 23 plus 15, if it does not seem to you. And the next problem is 47 plus 88. We're going to do this 2-digit. Now, one is a static addition. The first one, 23 plus 15, that is static. And then 47 plus 88 is your dynamic addition, right? So we're going to start with our static addition. So what should you do? You need to first, as usual, select the quantity and you tell them that this is static. Static means there is no exchanging. That means no carrying when you're adding two numbers or when you're adding two quantities. So instead of beads, you will now start collecting your stamps. Instead of beads, you will start collecting your stamps right now. So collect both the numbers. So we have 2 tens, 3 ones, and 1 10 and 5 ones. Now join them together. How many ones we have? We have 8 ones. Join the tens, we have 3 tens. So your answer is 38. Easy? Now let's do a dynamic. Dynamic is nothing but where you will have a carry forward. See, 47 plus 88. 47 plus 88 would definitely be your dynamic problem statement. You can note down these problem statements. So it will at least give you a heads up about how you can actually work, what kind of a problems that you can actually give. You will remember, like, what did we do exactly over here? Okay, so let's do that problem. 47 plus 38. So I will have to take how many tens and how many ones? 7 units. We take it from our stamp game, 7 units. And then we go with 8 tens. Sorry, 4 tens. Because that's your first number, 47. 4 tens and 7 ones make 47. I wanted to also say, whenever I have gone to schools, sometimes many teachers say 4 7 47, 8 8 88. Okay, so have you had any experience like that?
Yes, I also used to tell with the kids now. They will
Right.
pick up very fast. When they're writing, they won't make mistake.
Okay. Okay. So we need to avoid that. We can't
Okay.
say 8, 8, 88, 3,
88.
5, 35, 6, 5, 65. You can't say that. You have to say 6 tens and 5 ones is 65. 5 tens and 4 ones is like that. Okay. So you need to always do
Okay,
that.
ma'am.
If anybody is still got into the same structure, you need to change. Okay. So we don't have to be using that, because that will create a lot of confusion. Okay. So let's look into that. So the next number is our 88. So we picked up 8 units. The next thing is, like, we need to pick up 8 tens. After you pick up 8 units, 8 tens. Now join them together. 8 tens, 110, 210, 310, 410, 510, 610, 710, 810. Okay. Now let's join our ones together and tens together. Start counting 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When you have 10, take up all of that and replace it with 110. So you have to replace. So that's your carry forward, right? So we carry forwarded 1. So how much was remaining? 5 ones was remaining. Now, similarly, when you are counting tens, 10 tens we got. So we need to replace that with 100. 100 is what you have to be replacing that with. So what is your answer? It's 135 is your answer. Is that easy? Simple exercise. Same concept of how we do it with our golden beads, but the only difference that we're going to be having over here is about our material itself. So we are not using golden beads, but we are stamp game. So that's the only difference. Otherwise, everything is going to be very, very simple. Okay. So let's move to our next one. Next one is our subtraction. So similar to what we have there, we're going to be also working on our subtraction there. So note down the next material. It is our subtraction, both static and dynamic, using your golden beads. Okay. So note down the problem statement. Start with the problem statement first. 5,428 minus 1,216. So what is the rule? What is the rule? How many numbers should we be keeping? First number or both the numbers? Only the first number we have to keep, right? So what is the first number?
First number.
Yes,
Five,
the first quantity is 5,000s, 400s, 210s, and 8 ones. So arrange all of them. So start with always units, then your tens, then your hundreds, then your thousands. So you collected all the quantity, you kept it. Now you will start to take away. So you have 8 ones, you will take away how many ones?
8, 6
Six
ones.
ones. You will have to take away 6 ones from
Six
it.
ones.
So you have to collect another small tray wherein you can collect all the ones that I'm taking away. How many ones are remaining?
2 ones.
2 ones are remaining. So you write down the answer as 2. Now you have only 2 tens. But how many tens I have to take? 1 10. So the remaining is also 1 10. Now we have 4 hundreds. We take away how many hundreds? 2 hundreds. So we take away 2. So the remaining is 200. Now you have 5,000. You take away 1,000. Your answer is 4,100, 212. Now take a look at the next problem statement. We are going to be working on a dynamic subtraction. I'll be a little careful here. We're going to be working on a dynamic subtraction. The problem statement is 2,345 minus 1,683. Okay, so how do you arrange? Arrange the first number. 5 ones, 4 tens, 3 hundreds, and 2 thousands. Now take away 3,000. So we have 2 thousands remaining. Now here is where you will be working on your dynamic. See, we have 4 tens, but we have to take away how many?
8 tens.
8 tens. It's not possible. So what I have to do? I have to replace 100. I need to borrow, right? So I will borrow. So when I'm borrowing, I start replacing. When I'm borrowing, I start replacing it with 10 tens. So take off that 100, put it back into the tray. Don't forget that. Children do this mistake. So you have to keep it back. Now you have 14 tens. You have to take away 8 tens from that. So the remaining ones, you can note it down. Now you have only 200s, but you have to remove how many? 600s. So you borrow 1,000. So when I'm borrowing 1,000, I would replace it with 10 hundreds. Now I will have 12 hundreds. Now I have to remove 600. So my answer would be 600s. Now it's only 1,000, right? So my answer is 662 is my answer that I will have to be working on. Easy? Start. second exercise of doing our subtraction using our stamp game. Easy, everybody? Very simple. See, once you understand golden beads and then the concept of replacement, it becomes easy. From here, even children will do it really quick. It is not that only us we learn quickly, but children also will do it very quickly. So that's the reason spend more time in golden beads during their initial years. So when they are 5 years, it becomes easy for them to understand about their multiplication board. Okay, let's move on to our multiplication stamp game.
Ma'am,
Yes.
at the end, which was replaced by one circle type of thing, it has any name?
It is not circle, it is zero.
Zero. Okay, zero. We will say it doesn't have any name.
No name, nothing.
Nothing. Okay, ma'am.
Correct? Yeah, because it was zero, right? We had 1000 and we replaced, we took away 1000. So there was nothing there.
So it will be there in the box itself, right? So for every
Yes.
places like ones, tens, hundreds, we'll have something like this.
Yes. You're asking about the math, right, Sumita?
No, ma'am. At the end, we got in the thousands place, we got zero, right, ma'am?
Correct.
So it was been replaced. Something was the square, the material
green color.
Green color, yes.
Green color. So
that is zero for zero. Nothing is there, no void.
Yeah.
It
So
is
for
there in the stamp game.
Yeah, it will be there
It
for
will be
every.
there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will be there.
Okay.
Okay. So let's take a look at the next one. So that is our multiplication. Multiplication will be very much similar like our addition itself. So we're going to be seeing that now. So should we do static or dynamic? Let's take a look at both. Okay, so let's take a look. So we're going to start with a smaller number, 15 into 2. Maybe later we can do a bigger number also. Okay, to 2342 into 3 times. So we have to collect the quantity 2342 3 times. So you have how many thousands? So we have how many multipliers? These are skittles. So I was telling about the skittle, right? The one that I was showing here. These are the skittles. So those are nothing but your multipliers. So you will have to collect 3 such of them. Okay, so you will have to collect 3 such skittles. They're very essential for us to actually work. So collect these skittles. Okay, because you're multiplying with 3 of them. Now you work on it. Okay, so make a quantity. Put down the quantity. Yes. So arrange the quantity. How many times? So that is the third time that we are arranging. So now we check how much did each one get. So how much did each one get? Sorry, now not the distribution. So we are going to be adding. Now see, there is a carry forward. See, there is a carry forward, right? So there are 10 tens. So we need to replace that by 100. So 100 will go back there. 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. We stack all of them and it has to be replaced by 1000. See, there is a zero, right? So you have to arrange that zero. We have those coins. I was talking about those coins, right, Sumita?
Yes.
You can
Yes,
replace with this for your zero. When there is nothing, you can actually put that one. So that's your first problem statement. Now you do the next problem, 124 into 23. So you have your first one.
Ma'am, what is the problem statement, ma'am?
124 into 23. So each quantity will be three times over here. If you see this, there are two tens also. So the tens that is multiplying, you need to bring that to 4 units. That means every time that you have your 4 tens, right? So it's a similar way. Like, a 10 multiplier also have to be multiplied by how many times? By 20 tens. So which means it's nothing but a value of 200. So which this kind of 2-digit multiplication, we don't give it for our preschoolers. You can actually avoid. But a 4-digit single multiplication is what we can actually give it for our preschoolers. Now this is a 2-digit one. Guys, don't do this one with this material. We can use tubes actually for doing this exercise, okay? With stamp game, it will be a little confusing to do a 2-digit multiplication. So we can always use, once you introduce that material, we can always come back to perform a 2-digit multiplication using your stamp game. So we'll finish that and then we can come back over this one to do a 2-digit. Let's not do that right away, okay? So let's go back to our division. Division is also very simple. We can do a static division or we can do a dynamic division. Okay. So we're going to start with static division. And as I mentioned earlier, you need to always be making sure that your dividend, it has to be equally divisible. Dividend has to be equally divisible. Otherwise, it becomes difficult for a child also to understand about the problem statement. Okay. So here we go. This is the problem statement that we actually have. 4,824 divided by 4. So I have to collect my dividend. So I collect 4,000s, 800s, 2 tens and 4 ones. So I've collected my dividend. Now I have to divide it among 4 of them. So I keep my 4 skittles because we are performing a division here. So we perform four of them. So I need to take 4 skittles. Start with your highest quantity. Start with your highest quantity and start distributing. So that will be helping the child to work on your distribution. Then with the lower one, then with the next one. The tens and now you have only 2 tens, but I can't distribute. So you need to replace it with how many ones? 20 ones because you have 2 tens. So you will replace it with 20 ones. Yes. So whatever you're replacing, it has to go back. See, whatever you're replacing, it has to go back. Such a beautiful material, colorful and very beautiful it is. Okay, so what does each one get? Should be your answer. So each one got 1,206. Okay, so each one got 1,206. So this is your problem that we have to be working with our stamp game. So this covers 2 of our important materials to work with decimal system. We started with golden beads and then we got into our stamp game to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, both static and dynamic. Okay, so that's our second material. Moving forward, any doubts in the second one? Second material? That's it, right? Okay. So next we are going to something called as our teens and the tens board. Okay. So we now move on to our teens board and tens board. So what is a teens board and what is a tens board? Okay, so let me show you this.
Ma'am, Divya ma'am,
Yes.
actually, sometime I am unable to get during online class. Practical will help me, ma'am, to better understanding stamp game. This
Yes, you have to do that. You have to do that with your hands-on exercises. You have to use the stamp game. So when you go to school, spend some time, pick up the
Okay.
material, make a problem statement, learn to, put those stamps together and start working on it. Okay.
Yes.
So that's how you would be having.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now, guys, coming down to the stamp game, your stamp game will have unit cards right from your, what I could say from 1 to 9. and you will see it is got a board. Okay, so this is for linear counting. We also use this for our linear counting or a sequential counting, because the what I could say is, like, the children should be able to count the materials easily. So what we are going to be working over here is, like, if you see here, the entire board is given this way. The entire board, if you see, we have multiple things over here. Now each of those boards also, what I could say is, like, it's like 10, 10, 10, 10, and 10. And then you would also have another one this way. What we need to be working over here, if you see towards the side, there would be a slot inserter over here. So when I pick up any number, I should be able to insert it into this slot. And see, I will not be able to move it further because of this marking here. Can you see that marking? Oh, you can't see that. Okay, if you see here, if I put it this way, there is a marking here at the center. Can you see, everybody?
Yes, yes,
So I
yes,
will
yes,
not be
yes.
able to slide it more further. Now what I need to be working over here when I'm using my teens board is, this is a board. It will also have my number cards from 1 to 9. So now I have introduced children about quantities, bigger numbers and all of that. We did not teach children how to introduce 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Since we used golden beads, I had to work with operations and other things. Since it was all operations, I had to work with stamp game so that there is some kind of a relativity. But this material will be introduced a little earlier than addition subtraction. As soon as you introduce golden beads, concepts of ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, now the child knows how to make a quantity. The next thing I go is for the linear counting, because you introduced 10. The next number, it's 11, right? How does 11 look like? So it is 110 and 1 makes up 11. How does number 12 looks like? 110 and my two ones will make my 12. So likewise, you would move for 110 and 3 ones, 110 and 4 ones. Now, what is the additional thing that we're going to be working is, now this is my symbol. I have to associate a quantity to it, right? To associate a quantity to that is where I would be introducing my teens quantity. So yesterday also I showed you the teens quantity, right? So this is my teens quantity, wherein I would have, this is my teens quantity, wherein I would have all my numbers here, right? This is my number 1, number 2, number 3. See, this one bead, if you see here, it's a very tiny bead. If you see, it's all tied up. Now, if it's my two beads are tied together. If it's three beads are tied together. What is the only reason that we're going to be working over here is, like, given any number, given any quantity, if it is 11 or if it is 12, I need to make sure I have to have a quantity to it. So I have to also have my additional material in this. That is nothing but a set of my golden bead bars also. Why? When I have 11, it is 110 and 1. Correct? 110 and 1 makes up what? It makes up my
11.
It makes up my 11. Now you're able to understand. So this is how you start associating my teens quantity. This is my teens quantity with my teens board. Okay, a quantity to a board is getting associated. Now if it is 12, it is 110 and how many ones? Two ones, right? So I have my 10 10 and a number 2 is my 12. When I give you another number, say 15. So it is 110 and how many ones? 110 and 5 ones will make 15. So I have to do a linear counting. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 and 20. This is how the child will be able to learn about associating your quantity to your number. So this is your teens board. Similarly, we also have our tens board. Now, only difference between your teens and tens is you will still have your golden bead bar. You will still have all of that. But the difference between teens and tens board is Your teens board will have all 10, 10, 10, 10, right? Your tens board will have a difference of 10, 20, 30, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. It will have this. But your teens board will not have. So your teens board, everything will be 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. This is teens board. And this is tens board. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Now you will also have the number cards. Along with your tens board, you will also have your number cards. Right from 1 to 9, you will have your number cards. Now you go in sequence. 21. 2 tens and 1 1 makes 21. So I should have how many golden beads? 2 golden bead strings and then again 1. So you will use the same material. 22, 23, 24, 25. You keep replacing and then you go with 30, then you go with 40, 50 and 60. So on and so forth. You will move forward like that. Clear, everybody? Teens and tens board. Is everybody clear with that? Teens and tens board. Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's now see it properly in sequence. Nirmala? Okay, so that's your teens board. Okay. Let's take a look. How do we do it in our classes? A very useful material. Okay. So it's very, very helpful. Very useful. Let's take a look. This is how we arrange. We have, yes. So we have our tens numbers. Being arranged. Okay. Now, whatever is your number, you start putting those numbers like 18 and then 19. So you have your entire board, right? You put up all your teens board numbers you put. Now you're taking your quantity. You have to teach children about the quantities also. Let me put everybody on mute. Okay, so you will also be collecting your quantity. So you will have to be putting your quantities back there. Okay. So we have our 13, so 110 and 310, 3 ones, 110 and 4 ones is making 14. We start putting up our quantities together. So this is the basic exercise of associating our teens quantity. Okay, so this is what we would be helping our children learn about in our classes. So then you give them a little bit of more work to write. You will also get these printed worksheets. So again, you can go back to montessoriprintshop.com. You can allocate them to color the number of beads. Okay, you can also perform simple addition like 10 plus 3 makes what, 5 plus 4 makes what, and the child will be able to work on those additional conceptuals also with the help of the same material. That's going to be really, really helpful for all our students to work on it. Very beautiful, simple material. It's like, endless, tireless work. That's the reason Montessori said, no, when you start introducing these materials to the children at the younger ages, you'll see a tireless work for the child to actually be working. But again, this cannot be done in a group work. Okay, so there is a lot of individual work, individual attention that needs to be given to our children. So if you have smaller groups like 4 and 5, it will definitely be added on a good value to all of it. Okay, so the next material that we have it for today is our tens board. Please note down, we finished teens. Now we are going with our tens board. Okay, so this is our tens board. Similar to our teens, we have it, but you will see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 being written there, right? Apart from these, what else we have? Apart from these, what else we have? We have our unit cards, right? So we have our unit cards. So that's going to be our 1 to 9. So any number that you want to frame, you can actually frame with these cards. Okay, so it's going to be really helpful for us. So let the child fiddle with the material itself. Let them know how to exactly work with the material. And then you should be able to give them to write. Okay, give them a piece of paper. Even chalkboards, Montessori chalkboards can be helpful for all of the students. But at the same time, use the same quantity also. The quantity material also you can actually use. That is nothing but your beads. So you have to next help the child to arrange the quantity, right from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till 9. Okay, so let them arrange the quantity and then they can actually work on arranging. So this is going to be your next material. Very much similar, guys. Very, very similar. Whatever is your quantity, you're trying. See, whenever there is a symbol, whenever there is a quantity, you will always associate. You will always associate a symbol to a quantity. So that is what you have to just learn about in this. So this is what you have to just learn about in this. So you will do nothing. It is only like, you will only make up a quantity and then you will only be able to show it up. So every time that you do this, we have to remember we are doing composition of numbers. That is where we would be able to relate a number to a quantity also. So that gives a good identification about what we do, how we do. Okay, so this is one of the material that we actually have it. And let me quickly check in case if we have left any other materials in the linear and the golden beads after that. We have done with this. Yes. Now let's move on to our boards. Okay, there are different boards. It's a vast one. Now coming down to our boards, we will again have our addition strip board. We have subtraction strip board. We have our multiplication strip board and our division strip board. Okay. Let's note down the first board that we're going to be having is our addition board. First board that we're going to be having is our addition board. Addition board, along with the addition board, it also comes with strips. Okay, we have a blue and a red strip along with that. Blue and red strip. And we need to also have some of the problem statements to arrange all of that. Okay, the next one, as I mentioned, it is my addition strip board. Okay, so let me give you a quick description about how that material will be given. One second. Okay, so what I have to be working over here is like, it is a board like this. Okay, it is a board. Now this board, if you see from top here, we would have numbers being written. Now what are the numbers? Right from my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. Your board will be from 1 to 18. So that means whenever you're adding two numbers, your sum can't be greater than 18. Okay. Can we have everybody been muted, please? Guys, only when you want to talk with me, please unmute. Yeah, thank you. When we have this particular board, no, so we will be able to perform addition wherein the sum of two numbers can't exceed more than 18 because the board itself ends at 18. So two numbers cannot have a sum more than 18. For example, 9 plus 9 could be the maximum number that you can actually have. Fine. Okay, so coming down to the strips alone, it will have two strips. Now, the other part of the material is it will have two sets of strips. The first set is a blue set, which will have numbers from 1 to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, this is blue color. And then you would have similarly have a red strip. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It will range till 9. So this is your material. So this is your board. These are your strips. So that means anytime that I give a number, like say 2 plus 3 is equal to, I take up a number 2 here and I take up a number 3 strip from here. So this is my first addend. This is my second addend. So I take up that strip and I would place here. Okay, on this. Now just check where is my line ending. It is ending at 5. So my sum is going to be 2 plus 3 is nothing but wherever it is ending, it is 5. So this is what we're going to be learning in this material of addition strip board. Okay, so let's take a look at
Can
the
you please repeat it, ma'am?
Yes,
Ma'am,
I'll show you. That will be easy for you to understand. Material description, you want me to give material description?
No, ma'am.
how to arrange?
I will give you. I'll show you how to arrange. I was just
Visually,
explaining you
ma'am.
about the material itself. I was explaining you the material. Let me show you how will you arrange. Then it will be helpful for you to understand. Let me share. The device got shut down actually. I forgot to charge it. I had to immediately connect back. Yes. See, take a look, guys. This is your addition board. Now, do you see the numbers there on top? It is from where to where?
Yes, from 1 to 18.
1 to 18?
Yes.
1 to 18. Now, see, can you see the blue and your red strips there? Can you see the blue and the red strips?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So those are the strips that I'm talking about. Okay. So since we are working on addition strip board, we are going to be using these strips. If it is subtraction strip board, we will also bring an additional one. Okay. So we will also bring an additional one over here. Now the arrangement goes like this. You have all your blue strips. Then you will have all your red strips. What you need to arrange is blue strips on the other side, red strips on this side. So this is how you will start arranging the strips. Okay, go slowly. There's no hurry. So when you arrange all these strips, no, right from 1 to 9, you arrange it. Arrange the strips. Now you will take up on a problem statement. Okay, so whichever is your problem statement, say for example, if I have to perform an equation, right? Say it's 1 plus 9 is my 10. So 2 plus 8 is also my 10. 3 plus 8 is also my 10. 4 plus 6 is also my 10, right? So you can give this table to a child like what makes a 10. Do you remember? We also did it in our number rods and cards. If you remember what makes a number 10, I can also give a problem statement like this for a child to actually work on. Or I can also give them two individual materials also. Now this is like, up to 10. What can actually make up a 10? So this can be your first step that you will actually do. Now what I will do is like I give them an addition table. Like 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 3, 1 plus 4 makes what? Okay, so this is my addition table that I will be working with my child. So 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 plus 4 is my 5. So that is a transparent one that we actually put it up here because it's going to be helping us to understand about the table of 1. Now, when you're working on this addition chart or an addition strip board, you will also get the chart of your tables. If you have seen in our center, we have always worked on addition charts. Later, guys, after you work on all the tables, like say 1 plus 1 table, then 2 table, addition of a 2 table, then addition of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 and 9, then is what you will give them individual problem statements. Now, when you're making your individual problem statements, what else that we have to make is you need to make those label cards. Now, the label cards are the problem statements. 6 plus 4 is what? The second number, you can pick it up from the red. 6 plus 4. Take a look at the top number. It is 10. So you would write the answer as 10. Pick up more problem statements. Now, another problem statement is 4 plus 3. So what is 4 plus 3? The answer is 7. Right? So you will always keep doing it simultaneously. Like you can also include 0 also. There's nothing wrong. So you can also include 0 also. So 0 plus whatever number, 0 plus 5, what is the number? That you can also work on it. 0 means nothing. So you will not pick up the first quantity itself. Okay, you will not pick up the first quantity itself. So likewise, you can make up more problem statements and you can give it to your child to actually work, and then they would be able to work. What is also essential is you cannot leave it like that. You have to put back all your, what I could say, the strips back to your boxes. If you don't do that, putting it back, that means you're not helping the other child to do the exercises, right? So you should also introduce a child to keep back all the materials easily, so that the child will not have any difficulty in arranging or in getting back with all of it. Okay, so this is our addition strip board. So keep back, you'll have two compartments over here. So you can keep back the largest one, then the next largest, smallest, next largest, smallest, next largest, smallest. So similarly, you will also be putting it back your blue symbols. So this is your addition strip board exercise. Hamza ma'am, are you clear right now?
Yes, ma'am, I'm clear.
Yes.
Then red, first blue, only red. Anything we can change?
Anything you can do it. Anything you can do it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So that's your addition strip board. Okay. So we stop for today's exercise over here. Tomorrow we're going to be working on subtraction board, multiplication board, division board. Along with that, we will also have to perform some charts. Multiplication chart, subtraction chart, addition chart. After that, we will end the math session with bead frame. That is our small bead frame and large bead frame. By tomorrow, we should be able to finish the math practicals. This is just an overview session of what materials we use and how do we exactly be going to be using. There are many other blind charts, 3-4 charts, 5 charts, many things are there. I'll just give you an overview in case if we have a little time towards the end of the program. So we are aware about the material of how exactly we do it. Okay. So we have another 15 more minutes in case if you want to ask me any questions on these materials. You've felt free to ask me.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
can I have snake game?
Yes, we have addition snake, we have subtraction snake. Yes, we do have snake games. Yes. We do have even dot game. Dot game is there. Yes. So far, what are the different materials we have done? Can we list it so it becomes easy for us to identify? Okay. So we started from numbers from 1 to 10. We began with our number rods. Then we had our symbols, sandy numbers. Then we had our number rods and cards. Then we had spindle box. Then we learned cards and counters. Right? Then we moved on to decimal system. In decimal system, we had our golden beads. Then we saw about our stamp game. And later we moved on to our,
Tens board.
yeah, we had our teens board. We had our tens board.
And board.
Addition strip board. Addition strip board. Okay. We did our addition strip board. Next, we will have to do subtraction strip board. Then we need to do multiplication board, division board. And then we need to have skip count. Skip count using the bead stair. We have to do that. Okay. And what else? We have to do snake game. We have to do snake game, both addition and subtraction snake game. Okay. And we have to do charts. Here in this we did boards. Okay. All these are boards. And then we will have again charts for addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So we will have charts. Then we will move to passage to abstraction. That is where we will do small bead frame and a large bead frame. So tomorrow we should be able to cover up all of that because it's very simple. These materials are really simple. Only this part takes us a little time. Golden beads and stamp game takes us a little time. And end, there is something called as problem statements and because in an overall perspective, whatever are the problem statements, that we can actually work on our problem statements also and give it to our children. Okay, so this is our math portion. Very, very general. And if you're doing these materials in your preschool, that is from 3 to 6 years of age, that is really good enough. You don't have to be working a little bit more. There are also materials like tubes. We also have racks. That is for elementary classes. We don't do it in our preschoolers. Okay, so that covers today's topic of our exercises. That is towards our decimal system, introducing to our decimal system. Towards the end, there can also be writing notation. We also call it as a dot game. Now, dot game is like, say, when I give you a quantity, 4,532, where do I put a dot? I have to put a dot here. If I say 1,52,342, the child should know to put a dot. So we usually put a comma, right? So there is also a lesson where to put a dot. So that can also be done. Okay, which we don't do it for preschoolers, but for elementary, definitely yes, you need to learn about dot games also. Fine.
Ma'am, we have class tomorrow, day after also, Saturday also.
Saturday we don't. Saturday we don't. Friday we have.
Saturday, Sunday, no
is,
classes.
theory
Saturday,
class.
Sunday we don't have class.
Ma'am,
Okay.
for us, Saturday we can do practical, right?
Saturday,
It's
yes. Whoever is there in Bangalore, you can come down to the center. You can do practicals of whatever we have learned, right? You have to do the practicals, start writing notes. Maybe like the first 1.5 hour, you can do your practicals and you can start writing your notes, collect pictures, make problem statements, work with that. And you can also divide your task like Deepti,
Yes, ma'am.
Shubha, Deepti, all of you, Hina, Sumita. If you have problem statements, you don't have to do repetition. If one is doing a problem statement for addition, others do for subtraction. You can always exchange the problem statement. There are many problem statements in the school, it's available itself. You can use the same, but write it. When you keep a problem statement with you in your notes, no, it becomes as a reference for all of you. Sumita,
Ma'am,
tomorrow can you
that
show, you have your notes right now, Sumita? I'm going to be pinning you math note.
Yes, ma'am, I
Yes.
have.
Okay, so we have our fellow Montessorian, Sumita.
And someone's
I'm also going to be
video is
pinning
very noisy.
her.
Others, please mute.
Thank you, Supriya. So, Sumita, can you show the lesson?
Yes, ma'am. These are something like this.
Just go to the basic lessons. Go to the basic lessons.
Any of the lesson you can say?
Any
which
of the
should I
lesson
put?
should be fine. Any of the lesson. Guys, what do we do is like, if you're a teacher, be it it's a 15-day course, be it is a 1-year course, it is not that it should not be like an information session for you. You have to go back, you have to do your study, you have to make notes. For example, can you tell me which material is this?
Ma'am, cards and counter.
Yeah, cards and counters. So you have to have a pictorial representation to just to have your glimpse of what this material is, what is the purpose of this material, what are the different ways that I'm going to be working on, and then I have to also tell about the different purposes, age group of this, and giving any number to find out whether a number is even or odd. When you flip through your other pages, maybe a different lesson. Now, this lesson is all about your bead frame, right? Which we are going to be doing it tomorrow. Even the bead frame, we are going to be using to perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So you need to definitely write some notes. Okay, so that's going to be really helpful for all of you. Yeah, so these are large bead frames that you can work on, small bead frames you can work on. When I give you a quantity, how do you move a bead? So this is what we have to do it. So when students take up a full-fledged course, when students take up a full-fledged 1-year course, there is so much of note making, there is so much of learning that actually happens, like every problem statement. But this is called as changing. When we have a dynamic addition, everything needs to be returned, everything needs to get corrected, and at the same time you will also perform the same problem statement using your manipulative at the center. So only then you will have that relevance of working towards it. What kind of problem statements you will be preparing? Even your problem statements are color coded, right? Your addition will be red color in problem statement, your subtraction is in blue, your multiplication is in green, your division is going to be in yellow color. So you have to make problem statements also, and then you will have to write it. So even we have good practical knowledge that everybody has it, but reference, for your reference, we don't know tomorrow immediately will you join, or you might join schools after a year or so, we don't know. But if it has been noted somewhere, it is going to be really helpful for all of us to actually work on. Okay, so that was Sumita, and thank you, Sumita, for sharing. So likewise, you have to make and you have to keep notes for almost all your 5 areas in Montessori, because it's going to be your referral point. Thank you, dear. So that shows up a lot of hard work. So what do you think about Sumita's notes? Was it like inspiring for all of us? We will
Yes,
get
ma'am.
back to our
Very neat.
yes, we will get back to our old school days, because there is so much of writing which keeps happening. And as a teacher, you should always keep a journal of what you are learning. Every day is going to be a new learning. Every day when you write something new, you don't know how much you have learned over a period of time. When you glance through it, you'll be like, yes, I learned it from this. And when you've learned it from somebody, please take their name. Tell them that this is what I've learned it from Sumita. I learned a neat writing from Sumita. When you look at Supriya's work, she has got a great artwork. So refer to Supriya. Tell her that, I have learned this particular art from Supriya. When you start encouraging each of your team members within your group, that's how you learn. I keep telling to my students every time, and I would like to repeat one more time the same thing. You would have got bored of hearing the same again and again. So when I give you 1 rupee coin to all of you, 1 rupee coin, an Indian currency, how much money everybody has it right now?
One.
Just think virtually I'm giving you a 1 rupee coin. If I'm giving a 1 rupee coin, how much do you have it? Everybody, I've given you 1 rupee. How much do you have it?
One.
Everybody has 1 rupee. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
I will give you one more rupee. So how much do you have it right now?
2.
You have 2 rupees. If I will give you 5 more rupees. How much does each one have it?
7.
7 rupees. Okay. Was there a possibility of doubling that?
Yes.
How? I have not given. You still have 7 rupees with you unless and until you use
You
your
give.
brain. You have a strategy. You use everything, and then you would be able to work, right? So you don't have that. So it is going to be still your 7 rupees only. But now, when I invite you into a class group, and if I give you an idea, how many ideas each one has? I've given you one idea. So each one has one idea. Then I give you 3 students of your friends, and they all come over. Now, each one of you will exchange the idea. So how many ideas each one will have? 3 ideas. Now, see, the money was not doubling, but the ideas were doubling, right? So Veena ma'am had one idea, Kavita had one, Aditi had one. Each one had one, one, one. But when you shared it, you had 3 ideas. But when you still share your money, you will still be left out with 1 rupee only. If I ask you to exchange the money amongst you, you will still have 1 rupee only. But the ideas you can keep sharing. The more you share, the more you learn. So keep sharing. The more, if you want to learn more, you need to share more. It is not that you learn everything and you put it. So there are 2 kinds of learning. One is something called as an experiential learning. One is a passive learning. Passive is like you will listen to Divya ma'am, you will listen to any other mentor or a teacher of yours. You got all the information. But unless and until you don't explicitly go there and express that and implement it, it does not make any sense. It just keeps piling over and again. Okay. So having a note on that, please keep sharing. all your knowledge with all your dear friends, because we want to learn more from one another. Okay, having said that, I would like to end my today's session. Thank you very much for being such amazing participants for this evening, the second day of our Montessori classes. And we are going to be having a wonderful time tomorrow again. Okay?
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, in a strip board, so we can do only one digit addition, one digit subtraction. We can
Yes,
do,
yes,
right?
yes. Addition, strip board, and subtraction, it is only one digit. And the
One digit.
maximum add-ins can only be up to 18. You can't have more than, because the strips itself is like 9. You don't have a 10th strip, 11th strip, right? So even though you have a place to put it there, the maximum add-ins can only be your 9,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
right? So that's going to be there, correct? Yes. So we can't have it.
Oh.
Okay, so that was really wonderful. So I want everybody to come back on the gallery mode. Let's take a quick photograph of our day 2 session of our Montessori lesson. So can we have everyone on the gallery mode, please? On a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're going to take a picture. Yeah, so here we go. Is everybody ready?
Yes.
Big smile and a happy teeth. Yes, we have some more students joining us. Okay, so here we go on a first photograph of ours. Shashita is joining. Anyone else? Supriya, Tulsi. Yes, all of you are there. Okay, we missed Madhuri. Okay, so here we go, guys, on a count of 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cheese, everyone. One more photograph. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you everyone for having such an amazing day with all of us. We love you. We love you loads. We know how much each one of you mean to us for spending such amazing and valuable time with all of us. May you be an amazing Montessorian further after you complete your course. We're there to help, we're there to guide, learn from one another. If you would like to seek notes from any of our old students, you can definitely reach to us. We can share you a glimpse of how to write a lesson plan that's going to be helping you all of it. Okay, so if you're new to this system, you can note down another website. It's called infomontessori.com. So this will give you a proper AMI guideline Montessori lessons. You can go through. If you do not have notes, it's infomontessori.com. And all the students who have taken up a diploma session in our IMTTI center, your blueprint or your workbook is based upon the AMI principles itself. So you should be aware that AMI is an American Montessori International Day promoted by Dr. Maria Montessori itself. People who get certified under this certification course is considered to be the highest in the world, right? So followed by that is IMTC. Okay, and then we have the other institutes wherein we provide certifications. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening. Loads of love.
Thank you,
Take
ma'am.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
See you all. Thank you
Bye,
very
ma'am.
much.